Welcome back to the Distressed Princess. Today I'm doing homespun holidays. We're starting out with a pretty plaid print bottle bag and mini hat set that I got at the Dollar General store for $2. But you can use any fabric of your choice, and you can also use a plastic snowflake or any decoration that you like. You'll also need an embroidery hoop, which I have this old antique one that's been sitting in my stash. And the idea is really simple, just cutting out this snowflake and framing it in the embroidery hoop. Now, like I said, if you don't have this exact set, that I was lucky to have this set already on hand, and it had this beautiful snowflake, just the perfect size for my embroidery hoop. But if you don't have this set, then any scrap fabric that you have, or picture a burlap snowflake in the middle, decorate it however you like it. After I got my fabric placed inside of the embroidery hoop, then I embellished it with a couple of pieces of pine greenery and a couple of tiny little pine cones, and I just hot glued those right to the top of the embroidery hoop. Then I attached a loop of jute string to the back underside of the embroidery hoop, and I did that with hot glue, so this can be a hanging ornament. And after this craft turned out so cute and it was so fast and easy, I was really pumped for the rest of the projects I had planned. My next craft is something that I saw on TikTok by Rustic Design Sky, and they were so cute looking I had to try to make my own. Again, use the fabric of your choice, plaid or buffalo check or whatever scrap fabric you have. I didn't have anything that was of the homespun variety, so I picked up these stockings from the Dollar Tree. Only one side is printed, but that's what I'm going to use to make my homespun candies. The first order of business is to take these stockings apart. Of course, if you have regular scrap material, then you can skip this step entirely, but I turned my stocking inside out, and then I'm going to use my seam ripper from my sewing kit to take that hem out around the edge of the stocking. Now I have this ticking stripe piece to work with and this muslin type piece to work with, which I will use in this project. For the little cylinder type candy, I'm using a paper towel roll, which I'll cut in half, and so that means I could make 2 of these if I had enough of this material. Then I just eyeballed how much of that material I would need to cover the paper towel roll. And I used hot glue to secure that material to the paper towel roll. Then take some jute string, or you could use ribbon, and tie up the ends. To get a more homespun look, I frayed the ends of my cut off pieces by just pulling the threads. To decorate it with those cute stamped words, I'm using a piece of that stocking that was a solid color piece. And so I'm going to cut a little strip of it out. Actually, I'm going to make a long strip because I'm making 2 candies. So I'm going to make a long enough strip that I can make 2 labels, one for each candy. And then I'm going to stamp the cute words on it. This alphabet stamp set came from Michael's. I think it was about $12. It didn't come with the ink pad, but I already had that. And for this candy, I'm spelling out the word sweet. Then I cut off my label and frayed the edges. And I used hot glue to stick it onto my candy. You really could stop right there, but I felt like it needed a little something else, so I stole this little bow off of another ornament that I didn't like so much, and I hot glued it onto my candy. Stinking adorable. So thank you, Rustic Design Sky, for this idea. For the second candy, I'm using the same kind of stocking but in the red color, and I'll be using for the candy a empty ribbon roll. So same everything, I had to take my stocking apart, and now I'm cutting off my piece that I'm going to wrap my candy in. Even though it's a round candy, I'm still going to use a square piece. It wraps just the same. Then tie up the ends just like on the first candy. Then I hunted up my letters to spell out candy, and I stamped it onto my little solid piece of material. I frayed the edges and hot glued it onto the little round candy, and if possible, I think I like it even better than the bigger piece. This next one is another idea I found on TikTok by Average But Inspired. And all you need are these 3 wooden cubes from the Dollar Tree, some paint, some ribbon, a bow, and some alphabet stickers. Use the alphabet stickers to spell out joy onto your blocks. Then paint your blocks whatever color you want. Now I decided to go with a 2-tone combo, so I'm using a navy blue, and then I'm going to use a brown wood stain for some of the other sides. I did 2 coats of the blue, and then I let it dry completely by using my hair dryer, and now I'm going to peel the stickers up. Next, I painted the bottom sides of the blocks blue. And after the blue sides dried, then I watered down some brown truffle paint and used it for a stain to do all the other sides. Now use wood glue to attach all the blocks stacked up. And attach a ribbon with hot glue. The icing on the cake, or in this case, the bow on top of the stack of presents, is a burlap bow from the Dollar Tree. And after I looked at it all night that night, I decided to go back the next morning and do some sanding on that blue paint just to soften it up and distress the edges. And thanks to Average But Inspired on TikTok for inspiring me to make this DIY. The next homespun craft is using this fleece scarf that you can get at the Dollar Tree, but you can use any material that you like. With the scarf folded in half so that I'll have 2 pieces when I cut, I measured and drew out a triangle. Then I used a cutting mat and my roller cutter from the Dollar Tree to cut out the 2 pieces of triangle fabric. Next, you'll need a wood star from the Dollar Tree and some wood dowels. Well, actually just 1 wood dowel. Some wood filler would be great right here, but I didn't have any, so I'm filling up the hole in the star with some wood glue, and then I'm going to spackle over the holes and sand them down so that it looks like there's no hole was ever there. Then I stain the star using some watered down Truffle Waverly chalk paint. Then stain your wood dowel. Then you'll need a needle and thread, and I'm just going to do a basic stitch on 2 sides of the triangle, leaving the bottom side open for now. After I got the 2 sides sewed together, I ended my thread, and like I said, I left the bottom side open. Then take some pillow stuffing and stuff inside using whatever you have to get all the way down into the tippy top of that triangle, because I didn't really get enough stuffing in the top of mine. So I want you to take a pencil and really stuff that stuffing down into the top of the triangle. Then get your needle and thread ready again, because you're going to start sewing up the bottom. Sew until you get just about to the halfway point. When you get to the halfway point on the bottom of the triangle, that's when you're going to insert your stained wooden dowel. And you're going to use hot glue on the end of the dowel and stick it up inside of that triangle. And continue stitching on the bottom side of the triangle. At this point, you should have a triangle on a stick. Now you'll need to drill a hole in the center of your star, so choose a drill bit that is the same size as your wooden dowel. Drill your hole slowly and do not go all the way through the star. Put some wood glue inside the hole you just drilled. And insert your triangle on a stick, which we now can call a Christmas tree. She's pretty cute just like this, but I wanted to add some stuff, so I had these wooden buttons and I got out my case of all vintage buttons. I picked out some that I liked and I hot glued them around on my tree. Now don't click off of this video yet, because this is not a candle. It is, but it isn't. It's not what you've seen before. First, you'll need one of these candles. I know I'm showing 2, but you really only need 1 for this DIY, and melt it down on low heat. Then carefully pour that wax into a bowl. Then get an LED candle from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to cover that plastic candle with this wax, making it more realistic, and we're going to make it look like a snowman. So that's the reason why I poured the wax into the bowl, so that I would have better control using a spoon to dip the wax out and onto the plastic candle. Just keep adding and adding the wax and layering it up until you're happy with the coverage. While the wax is still warm, you can use your fingers to mold it and shape it and smooth it out, but you really want it to look like built up snow, like kind of lumpy, not really too smooth. And also, I didn't put it where the flame of the candle is, and I did not put it on the bottom where the battery and the switch is. And when you're done with that, it should look something like this. And a side note, there's a byproduct from this. All the wax that is still kind of warm in the bowl and warm on the plate, you can scrape that up and make a wax snowball. So if you wanted to put a wick in that, it could be a snowball candle. But back to our snowman candle. Once the wax has dried, then I'm going to use some of this black fabric paint from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to do 2 larger dots for eyes and some smaller dots for mouth. But before I get to his mouth, I'm using some orange acrylic paint to paint on a little upturned carrot nose. I thought about adding some buttons down the front, and I guess you could add a scarf or whatever you wanted, but I wanted to leave mine simple. Now let's take a look back at all our homespun holiday decorations today. So what do you think? Give me a thumbs up if you liked these DIYs, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know which one was your favorite. Have a very safe and happy holiday, and I'll see you next time. Bye!